Hello again, everyone. This is Mandy Straight, and you are listening to Messy Designed Life, the podcast that is occasionally about interior design and always about interior design. Interior can mean so many things. Sometimes it's about the design inside ourselves, sometimes about the design inside our homes, sometimes we're talking about the design inside this universe that we are living in every day. So today, in our messy designed situation and experience, we are going to talk about beauty and the concept of it, what it is, what we do with it. Is it important? At least the initial conversation about beauty centers around the statement form over function or form follows function. I think so often it is treated in a way where the form is insignificant and unimportant, and the function is really the utility at the heart of the matter, and that's what we need to focus on is the function. And then, the form kind of whatever, right? And it's seen as like this fluffy surface thing if we are focusing on the form. Interestingly, I disagree. I disagree with that. And there are not that many things. I feel pretty flexible. I feel like I can see both sides of a lot of fences. I'm like, what do you think about that? I can see where you're coming from. I just disagree with this. To pretend that we as humans are not affected by the beauty of something or lack of beauty of something is inaccurate. Scientifically and also experientially, for me, for those I have discussed it with, for my clients, for science, for doctors, for anything, beauty is a part of our experience of anything. And if we don't have beauty, we start to lose something else. And I'm curious what that is. We're going to talk about it a little more in depth. We're going to consider it. We're going to consider it together. And I have not written this all out today. I am leaning into the messy because I'm curious what happens when there's a conversation. Maybe I'm curious what happens when there's a conversation with myself and when it happens real time and it is not planned ahead. I'm curious what will come out of the chaos of that today. And if it doesn't work, I will erase it. And if you're listening to this, clearly I did not. So I looked up, as I do, as you know I do by this point, I looked up the etymology of beauty. And the etymology, the root of this word, is the state of being pleasing to the senses. Okay? That right there is clearly, let me say this, clearly I was looking at the noun. Beauty is a noun because it is the state of being pleasing to the senses. And what's interesting about that is that we all know beauty when we see it, at least in some forms. We can look at something. There is something you can think of that you can feel with your senses. Maybe it's not looking at, maybe it's hearing some beautiful music, maybe it's smelling a beautiful smell, maybe it's feeling a beautiful piece of cloth on your skin, silk, what have you. We all know what that interaction is like with beauty, and we have experienced it, all of us. The trigger of it is different for each of us. I do believe that beauty is in the eye of the beholder in most cases. And what's amazing about that is that means beauty is not the thing that's holding what we would traditionally say beauty. Okay, it's not the thing that we would call beautiful that's actually beautiful. If that's true, beauty is the reaction in me to whatever the thing is that I'm reacting to, which means that beauty is not, things can't be beautiful, right? Things can't actually be beautiful because that's a noun. Things can feel beauty. Okay, and I said that wrong. Beings can feel beauty. So what does it change? What does it change if there is no such thing as beauty as a noun? You know, I've spent so much of my life, and I know I have referenced this in previous episodes, it's really been a thing for me. When I was a kid, I was a 90s Disney kid. I was talking about this in a conversation with a group of amazing women just this weekend. And I grew up on the 90s Disney, which is that the most beautiful girl in the room is the only one who gets to feel love, is the only one that gets to have a happy life, is the only one that gets the happily ever after. It's only the beautiful one. So how important was that told to me that it is? How important did I absorb that it is if that's the only happy girl, woman, female in any story, is the one who is beautiful? It was a big deal. I cannot tell you how much time in my life I have spent, I just, what even is the right word? In agony about how I didn't think I was living up to some beauty thing. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm not saying this like nobody understands. I'm saying it like I see you. This is frustrating that this is what has been told to us, that this is the root of our value. But I see you. All of you who are like me, I see you. That beauty was the thing you had to have. So what does it change from that experience, that amount of time I spent agonizing over being beautiful? How does that shift? If beauty is no longer a noun, it's not even possible for me to be beautiful as a noun, as a state of being, of existence. What if the only possibility is for me to feel beauty, to seek out and experience beauty? That's completely different. Seeking beauty means I'm finding things that trigger or ignite that reaction within myself that feels like beauty inside of my body. So then not only do I stop worrying about being beautiful, because it's a non-issue, because it's not real, not only do I stop worrying about that, also I go seek out opportunities to experience beauty. So I'm curious and interacting in a different way with the world around me. And the goal of all of that is that I am identifying and practicing feeling that feeling inside of me that is beauty, that verb, that motion that is beauty. How much does it change if in me seeking beauty, I am working the muscle of experiencing it? Because that's how I'm defining and experiencing beauty in my life and in the world around me. I told you guys, I did not think about that beforehand. I thought about it being a verb. That's what I had thought about. And that just went deeper than I thought it was going to go. That's not true. I always know it's going to go deep because that's where I live. Let's be honest. Mandy can find a way to make it all like that, and maybe that's a lot for some people. So, wow. So we're experiencing beauty. And that changes the game. That changes the entire game. Because now all of the normal venues where we would seek beauty or seek to be beautiful, both, are shifted. I mean, the beauty industry, I was going to look this up because I was thinking beauty, and so it's so often tied to spending money so that we can look a certain way, often like we are 20 or 25. Please reference my past podcast episode about being old and how maybe it's actually better, and the freedom that can come as we begin to learn that there are very valuable traits and ways of being as we age older than 25, and lean into it, lean into the old instead of chasing and scrabbling back after the 25. So as we know, so often the beauty industry is this machine, if you will, that is trying to get us to spend money so that we can look a certain way that is considered quote unquote beautiful. And it turns that all on its head, doesn't it? If there's no way to be beautiful. If instead, I'm just thinking of how I spend my money. If instead of trying to be beautiful, I'm working on nourishing my skin, I'm working on allowing or encouraging or empowering my body to feel healthy, to feel strong, to feel clean. All of those change the entire dialogue. If I'm no longer worried about being beautiful, it changes how I will choose to spend my money. It changes, those things that we get in our feed that are like, spend this money and you won't have that, spend this money and make yourself more beautiful. And it's everywhere. And if I can change my programming so that I see those messages that tell me, buy this and you'll be more beautiful, then I can learn to spend less and less money on things that are chasing something that is not actually a real thing. Being beautiful as a noun. That's huge. Also, it sounds like I could see listening to this podcast while I'm working through this in my own mind and saying it out loud. I could see the thought process that I am talking myself out of a job as far as my interior design work goes, because isn't that about making our house and our home beautiful as a noun? And I am here to tell you that's exactly not what I'm doing, because the way that I approach design for myself in my home, with my clients in their homes, the way that I am approaching that is all about the experience of beauty and what is possible when we experience beauty as a verb. When we are able to walk into our home at the end of a long day and our home experience is, yeah, girl, that was tough. You're amazing. I got you. Now come sit down. Come sit down. I got this nook for you. You can have your wine here. This is the perfect place, and you are an amazing human. That to me is the benefit of design. And not just the end of a long day. It's also me waking up in the morning and saying, oh, this feels good. This feels beautiful. I feel beautiful when I wake up. Maybe me, right? Like, I don't know if you can hear that fire engine. Cool. Maybe it's that I feel beautiful, me, myself, and I. Like, I, Mandy, feel beautiful. But maybe it's I, Mandy, am feeling the beautiful that is around me. I am feeling that reaction that happens inside of me when I get to interact with beauty. And I wake up, and how much different is my day going to be if I wake up and my bedroom, the first thing I see when I open my eyes is allowing me to feel that reaction of beauty in my body. If I come downstairs and I am making myself my coffee drink, y'all, I am obsessed with Everyday Dose. I drink it multiple cups a day. I may be obsessed, but I feel like it's a valid, reasonable obsession. I really I do, and I assess it regularly. Is this healthy? Is this not healthy? Anyway, I'm obsessed. I literally have one right now. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon, and I just made myself another cup because I like it. And it's everyday dose, and it's wonderful. They are not sponsoring this, but if they would like to, I will sing their praises even more. So what would it be like if I go down in the morning to make my everyday dose, and I get to experience beauty as I do that? I mean, I'm kind of obsessive about my coffee mugs. I have very strict standards about them. And if you're watching the video, you can see this is one of my 3 favorite coffee mugs. All of them are similar. They just have different letters on them. These suckers are, here, look, let me tell you my criteria, my personal criteria. I like a big mug because I want to drink a lot of coffee, or I don't drink coffee. I want to drink a lot of my everyday dose. I want to drink a lot of tea. I don't want to have to go get another cup. I don't feel dainty. So as much as I would love to be that person who has antique little teacups and they're so beautiful and vintage, I would love that. In theory, I would love that. That would be a great beauty factor for me. And the utility, the form would be there and the function would fall short of my criteria. So even if I start with form, there is a minimum of function that must be reached for me to be able to enjoy the form. And my favorite coffee mugs, they've got the beauty because they follow also the beauty of the experience that I want, which is not refilling my cup all of the time. So large, I want a large mug. I want a mug that is not super wide. I want it to be more narrow because it gets cold fast, and I like mine hot, like surface of the sun on equinox. Just kidding, equinox is on Earth. Whatever. I want it the surface of the sun hot. It better be toasty and stay that way as long as possible. And if it's like a really wide mouth, kind of like a bowl, kind of a coffee mug, then it just cools off too fast. It makes me angry. The other thing is that I want it to be pretty. I want a good color. But I also like simplicity. So these mugs that I love are black and white. They have letters on them, which, I'm just such a word nerd. And I opted for the weird letters. I got X and Q and J because I think they're interesting and mysterious somehow. And all of those things are beautiful to me. They spark beauty. I like that. You know how we say spark joy? Yeah, what if we're sparking beauty and we stop? How is it? Man, this is good, you guys. If we stop using beauty as a noun, if we stop using beauty as a noun and we start using it like we're going to spark beauty in myself, in others, in a room, although you gotta have a receiver to feel it. Right, so you spark it in people. We spark beauty, just like we spark joy. That is so much better. Then I can have my coffee mugs that spark beauty in the morning, and doesn't my day it's better. I mean, there are so many scientific references to how our environments impact us. I could research this and include it in a fully researched podcast episode and talk about the data that is out there to tell us how much our surroundings affect us. If you've seen my TED Talk, I say that there was a study that was done. They studied how long people were in the hospital, and these people had similar surgeries. I think it was appendectomies. Ugh, don't quote me on that. But it was all like similar medical situations. It's not like one person was in for a cut and the other person was in for open heart surgery, right? It's similar things done. And the people who had a view out their hospital room window that had trees and nature, those people, and it was the same hospital, so it was all the same staff. So the wing of the hospital that looked out onto nature, those people stayed in the hospital an average of a day shorter, less time, than the people who were on the other hospital wing and their room looked out to a brick wall. And just that, right? The interior of the hospital room was the same. I mean, arguably, like Maybe one was green and one was blue, but the interior of the hospital room is the same. The staff is the same. It's the same hospital. It's the same surgery that they've had. And you even that out over all the patients, where some are going to stay longer just because they may be older, they may have health conditions. All of those factors were evened out by the size of the study. And even still, it stuck out as a massive difference between the people who had nature outside the window and the people who did not. The people with the nature, with the trees, got to experience the spark of that beauty. Damn, what else do we need to know? I bet that if we find anything that we find out there that's talking to us about how going out into nature can prolong our life, how laughing more can prolong our life, dancing more can prolong our life. I argue right now, today, from this moment of thinking about it, right this very second, I argue that is because all of those things are us experiencing beauty. All of those. The result of dancing, the result of being in nature, those are all the result of laughing. Laughing is experiencing that spark of beauty. That changes our entire existence. Now, this bridges into something that's really interesting. I think this is all really interesting. When I work with couples and we are trying to figure out how to combine design styles that are not exactly the same. There's something that, she likes this style, he likes that style. Let's just say she wants it to be a little more cozy and classic, and he likes modern and minimalist, okay? What I have found as the most effective way to find good common ground is to figure out why each of those people are drawn to what they're drawn to. So if the wife likes classic, which can mean a lot of things, but it's certainly not minimalist. I mean, you can do classic minimalism, but that's not what we're talking about. So she likes classic, a little bit more detail, a little bit more historical references, definitely more tchotchkes to whatever degree that is than minimalism. And if she likes that, what is it that she likes about it? Okay? If you like classic, do you like that it feels grounded? It feels rooted in something true and real. It doesn't feel too frou-frou. It doesn't feel too chaotic or trendy. It doesn't feel trendy. So you like that it's timeless. You like that it's a level of simplicity, because I'm not picturing maximalism when I'm talking about classic. So there's a level of simplicity to that, maybe less simple than minimalism. It's not stark like minimalism can be. So there's a coziness and invitingness factor to it. Okay, so these are all the pieces that maybe she likes when she comes home. That's what she's going for. She's actually not going for classic design style. She is going for those feelings. She's going for those experiences of beauty in her home. If he likes minimalism, what is it that he likes about that? What is he drawn to? If I tap into the part of myself that appreciates minimalism, and certainly people who this is their major style would have more to say about it, but if I tap into the part of myself that understands that, I'm going to say that minimalism serves the function of being clean, simple, completely not chaotic, organized. It's orderly and it's simple. It's not distracting. So I'm sure that a minimalist could give us even more reasons. Those to me are the ones that stand out. And they want to come home. In this scenario, this guy wants to come home and he wants to experience that form of beauty. Simple, uncluttered. I was gonna say basic, but it's not the way we use basic now. It's basic in the simplicity and the ease and the orderliness of it. So what's amazing is that we can start to map that and say, I really want to get these 5 things or these 6 things out of my environment. And the other person can say, cool, I want to get these 4 things out of my environment. This is what's really important to me. When we are designing for these things, we can find, I'm telling you, he can find some classic things that fit his 6 criteria. And she can find some minimalist things that fit her 4 criteria. And we can also, together as a team, figure out how to make that balance be intentional and cohesive throughout the home. So maybe the shell of the house is very minimal and fits his vision and his version of beauty that he wants to experience. And maybe then we start to add in classic pieces in the shape of the sofa or a piece of artwork, or maybe she has like a fluffy Mongolian sheep hair pillow. I wouldn't call that inherently minimalist. I guess you could certainly put it in a minimal space. But if we start adding in enough detail and enough of the experience that she wants to have, they both will feel fulfilled by that space, and they both will experience beauty when they walk into it, when they spend time in it. And both of them can be happy with the outcome of that. So what an amazing way to understand how we can have these conversations about interior design in the self and in the home with this context of the theory that beauty is an experience that happens inside of us. And if we are asking the question, what sparks beauty in me? I think we can get a lot further. I think we can get a lot more clarity about our homes, how to interact with other people, what we spend our money on, and self-talk. We can have much better conversations with ourselves if we drop beauty as a noun and start using the verb that it is, and stop telling ourselves, I'm not beautiful enough. Okay, maybe I'm speaking for myself. I know I'm not the only one. If we can drop the narrative, I'm not beautiful enough, I need to be more beautiful, and we shift that into, I can experience beauty. I can spark beauty. I can feel the spark of beauty. Making that shift is massive. That's a game changer right there. And I'm excited about it. I just thought of it right now. That's going to change a whole lot for me. Because you know what? I mean, as an interior designer, I think I hold it as something that I am supposed to have beautiful outfits, beautiful fashion. My home is supposed to be beautiful in some objective way that seems not obtainable. Inobtainable, is that a word? It seems inobtainable because as I talk about it more in wider and wider circles, there are more and more diverse people that are hearing it, and they may or may not think my outfit is beautiful or my personal home is beautiful. And how much freedom is there if I'm shifting that dialogue of myself, from myself to myself, if I'm shifting that to say, I experience beauty and I empower and support others in experiencing beauty. That's a game changer, because I experience beauty with all of the things I'm wearing right now, and that means it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about it, because I'm wearing them and I'm experiencing them as beautiful. I'm sitting in my office and I'm experiencing my surroundings as beautiful. I'm curious, as I think about the ramifications of that, I'm curious what all of you think. What are the spheres of your life that it shifts to make that shift in how you're experiencing beauty and how you're using the word beauty? Because I would guess, I mean, tell me if you relate to the examples I've given. I'm curious too which examples I haven't even thought of yet. So please tell me how this comes across to you and what you notice in yourself when you consider dropping beauty as a noun. We're just gonna get rid of it. What if we delete it out of the dictionary? There is no beauty as a noun. It just says beauty, noun, see, beauty, verb. Reference the entry for beauty verb, because beauty is an experience that we get to feel inside ourselves, inside our body. Well, that's what I have for you today. I feel like I have a lot more to say about this because this was an unresearched experience. So I may just do another episode on it. And actually, I would love to do an episode that includes your comments and your thoughts so that I could include those in the conversation. Because I just think you guys probably have a lot to say about this. This is huge. I'm really excited about it. Thank you for joining me today for Messy Design to Life and discussing design in all its forms, especially within our own selves. And I look forward to next time. See you again. And in the meantime, enjoy your messy designed life.